good people. My name is Alexander Masika and I'll be hosting the Mental Insider Show. This is a mental health show that will discuss the various topics that concern mental health in all aspects. And now then, we roll back to our first episode where we'll be discussing about mental health stigma in the society.
Kindly introduce yourselves.
Hi, my name is Kenya Gitonga. I am a psychology student from the University of Nairobi. I'm also the founder and director of Sound Mental Health. And I'm also an author to materials like this, which talk about mental health, and we try to create awareness and minimize stigma surrounding mental health. Thank you.
I'm Sima Vincent, counseling psychology student at the University of Nairobi.
Oh, thank you. When we talk about mental health stigma in society, it's becoming rampant in our lives, and especially when you look at us, the youths. And what do you think is the main root cause of mental health stigma in society?
There is stigma, especially on matters pertaining mental health, and I would say that the root cause of this stigma is lack of knowledge. I'll call it ignorance, whereby people have been conditioned to undergo several negative things, such that they cannot tell, is it right, is it not right, and also negative beliefs and attitudes towards mental health, and also misinformation. Because when you do not have the right information, you never get the urge or anticipation to want to learn.
So when we narrow down now to mental health now, in what ways does it occur? Like mentally, someone is stigmatized mentally now.
When we're talking about stigma, especially on matters pertaining mental health, it is very common and something that we can see in the society today, whereby, for instance, if you meet with someone out there who looks as if they have lost touch with reality, the first thing that comes in someone's mind, that person is mad. But they do not want to know, are they acting that way because they have a disorder? And most do conclude that it is witchcraft or something was done to them. That is stigma in its own. Because when that person comes to you and starts speaking to you, you tend to avoid them. That's no stigma. It is stigma. And also people, they don't want to openly talk about these things. When your friend comes and tells you, I've been undergoing through this and that, I feel like I need help, people tend to shy away and even avoid them. And that is stigma. Why? Because you're not openly talking to this person. You're also avoiding conversations which might be of essence to them. So people tend to judge a lot. People tend to stigmatize and discriminate people who bring up conversation pertaining mental health.
Just to add on, there is this, there's stigma from people outside. Mm-hmm. Also, there's this stigma within yourself. Like, let's say you've this problem, or maybe you're suffering from AIDS, or you belong to this sexual orientation, but you haven't accepted it from inside yourself. Like, you're judging yourself from within. Yeah. Now, you're fighting that one from within, again from the outside, from the larger society. So it's also affect people.
Okay, I was thinking about this. Maybe now, if the way someone comes and then you tell them when it's cheesy, that's stigma also. Like someone tells, you're talking and then you're telling someone, won't be cheesy. Like they usually what we do in our normal lives. You're telling someone to be cheesy. They're telling you, I'm not feeling well. I think I have a problem with my mind. And then you tell them, won't be cheesy. Is that stigma?
To use there are a lot of vulgar language and shame, if I might call it. So it might not be stigma, but you take, for instance, this person really needs help, but then you just dismissing them, or maybe you do not want them in your spaces anymore because you've noticed that they have a disorder. That is stigma. Yeah.
And also, there's this, like, when we're talking about now stigma, I feel most of the people think that if you're mentally unstable, the only option is going for maybe like going to a rehab, I can say so, or maybe to a therapist. Is it a guarantee that if you're sick mentally, you have to go for to a hospital? Because if you come to this setup now, when you're talking about Kenyan setup, most of the people will tell you, You know that thing. Unafaa kupelekwa madhara.
Yeah.
Do you feel it affects people so that they can't talk out what they are feeling? Because at some point, they might be told, unafaa kupelekwa madhara wewe.
First of all, in fact, when you hear the word Madare, ukiambiwa go to Madare, in a way it hits you like, okay, which means I'm mad. Like that's what comes in your mind, like I'm this mad person. But I would say, yes, okay, I would say it's necessary to see a counselor to go to the necessary facility for some guidance. But first, you have to accept, like, okay, I have this condition. Because when you go there without the acceptance from yourself, from within, utakuwa unafanya tu kazi bure, like unaongelesha, but you're like, okay, it's not me. Like you have to accept, okay, I have this condition. And even before you go there, maybe have you tried to reach someone else? Maybe you have a friend of yours. Have you tried to express, okay, I have this condition, I feel like this, or I'm feeling so depressed and such, whatever. Then from there, maybe he'll try talking to you, of course. And if you see it's not working, maybe now you can take the further step of going to the mental facility near you, and maybe you can seek some more advice or counseling from the facility.
Yeah, something. I know when we talk about going to Mathare, this whatever he has talked about, the image that clicks in. But then when someone says they have a problem, you do not conclude that that is a disorder. It doesn't mean that they even have to be rehabilitated. The first thing we need to do once we see a professional, they have to evaluate and see, is that an issue that really needs rehabilitation? And that brings us to the essence of how do we handle disorders. We do not just hospitalize, you have to assess, you have to see, is it medication, is it therapy, or no, you need to be rehabilitated.
Yeah.
So people do not get the fact that not all the conditions that need you to get to the rehab. That now brings in the lack of information.
Lack of information and misinformation.
Yes, misinformation.
And also, this concerns mostly about men. Whatever, like, people say that the society expects men to be strong, to be, they're not like feelingless, they don't have emotions at all. And then now this draws back now to where we are now as a society, as a country, and as a world. Do you feel like there's a lot of stigma in mental health, especially to men compared to women? And how can we handle that? Because most of the men they say most of the men don't talk.
Yeah.
But now, what is the way forward? Because it looks like men are more stigmatized when they're mentally unstable than women. Is that true? And how do we go about that?
I think that's something that should be done away with, and it's really affecting our current society, especially with the youth. Like you're being told, when ni mwanaume, like there's this stuff wanakwambia, we ni mwanaume. Maybe you're going through something and I can't express it or tell it to someone because I am a man, But you realize that in the current society, it's really affecting the youth. Like unapata hizo sana, the mental issues zimeanza kuwa mingi sana juu. Watu wanasema, okay, ladies, they express themselves, wakiwa na shida, she can go cry, do anything. But for a man, you have to remain strong and you can't really let out what you're feeling. First of all, I'll like to say, it's not something good. It's all about you. It's all about your mind. It's all about your body and soul. So I'll suggest, or I'll prefer, if having any thought or something that is really in your mind, or you're feeling this thing disturbing you, it's good for your sake. Leave alone now the stereotypes or what the society may view as you're not a man. Of course, you'll remain to be a man after all. If you express your feelings or not, just come out, seek the necessary guidance or the services that you need or the counseling that you need, instead of baki umejiekelea, and then it will come and affect you to an extent. Now that you're being called, this guy is a total mad person. Now, before it reaches that extent, think more about yourself than what the people around. Like, it's more about yourself. Yeah.
Okay. So also regarding the same, I would really love to say that it is research that has shown men tend to suppress emotions. Most of them do not want to speak out. And I've seen a lot of spaces coming out. I've seen a lot of forums coming out which try to educate people that the sense of talking about what you're feeling, the sense of expressing your emotions and not necessarily suppressing them. Because the moment you suppress emotions, they tend to hurt you more. And this is a belief, it's among the negative beliefs that people have, that men tend to should be whole, strong at all times, which is very wrong. Why? Because they are also human and they also need help. So it is okay even as youths to join these forums, join these spaces, get to speak. There are support groups, and support groups, it is a space where people with like experiences meet, they share. If you're facing issues to deal with depression, if you're facing issues to deal with suicide, you get to talk and you see also people have been there before me, they made it. That means that I can also get to be fine. So it is of importance even as youth, males, females, to join spaces and talk about such issues.
Do you think that stigma makes people not go for like to seek help, maybe in a hospital, maybe in a medical facility? Do you think it's one of the main challenges for people not going to seek help? Because when you look at the statistics, there are very few people who go to go for a mental checkup.
Yeah.
And then when the survey is done, the stigma was the first one on the table, because they say that everyone fears being stigmatized. So most of them now tend to suppress those feelings. Especially for men, they want to suppress their feelings, and then they don't seek help. What do you think about that? Is it true?
Yes, it is true. Stigma really counts. And let's see, even during research on when people are bring these issues out there, for instance, social media, there's a way they portray these mental health conditions such that a person feels this is extreme. I don't want to trend, or I don't want to be on the limelight. And also lack of information, as we said. So when you're talking about stigma, it is a huge thing that contributes to people not going for mental health checkups. And when I ask a person, when was the last time you went for mental health checkup? The answer, sijachizi. Because they think going for these checkups, you necessarily have to have a disorder, which is wrong. So yeah, mental health is being laid low by stigma. But not only stigma, there are other factors, but it plays the key role.
Who are the best people now to address this issue? Because if you're going to the clinic, does it mean now the counselors are the people stigmatizing these people? Or is it the society, the people that know this person is going maybe through a problem? Now, where is the problem?
Okay, I'll say using this example, I was sometime back at Madari. So there was this patient, he's been suffering, he was suffering from AIDS and HIV. So he's been, amekuwa akikaa nyumbani, like alikuwa amejiwekea kabisa, like he don't want even to go to the hospital. Amejiwekea zile feelings, like it's stressing him up. He hasn't expressed it to anyone else. So like he feared. When I asked him what was the reason why he never wanted to go for hospital, or because ilikuja ikapile, like to an extent got traumatized, akakuwa na zile those disorders correlated na stress, depression, so it really affected him, ikabidi akaletwa OC. So when I tried to ask, why didn't you go to the hospital? First, yes, he said at the hospital he feared that maybe the environment, maybe the doctors who are there, and maybe the other patients who have come, they will say, oh, this guy is HIV positive. So that thing made him not fear to go to the hospital. And again, he said, now another big problem was back at home. Now the family at large. Like the family and the society will now start judging him and maybe isolating him from accessing other services. So I think the problem, I will say, it's entirely now the society at large, how they'll view you. Like they'll start viewing, hata kama mtu alikuwa rafiki yako, kuna venye hiyo drift itakuja, like atakuwa na that perception. Yeah. Maybe you're just being depressed or something, then someone hears, hey, Vincent amepelekwa Madari. You see, someone conclude, hey, Vincent amecheese, or Vincent amekuwa mwendo wazimu. So most people, I guess they are afraid of that judgment. I'll say judgment from the society.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, apart from that, do you think there's enough advocacy or creating awareness about mental health stigmatization in society? And if it's not, what are the ways that maybe we can improve on that? Yeah.
Of late, since COVID came, there has been a lot of improvements, especially in mental health. There is advocacy, but I would say that mental health is not given the weight it deserves. Because you can see when people talk about these things, I've seen a lot of Twitter spaces, I've seen a lot of Instagram lives, and a lot of spaces regarding mental health. But it's only theoretical. Kwa ground, it's not working. And people are always doing it on social media, but at the grassroots level, people are not sensitized. So you might find that those who are a bit engaged with literacy programs, they have the idea. But when you go to the underserved areas or rural areas, people lack knowledge. So there is still a lot of things which can be done. But then how do we enhance this? It starts by personal initiative. As a person, what are you doing to advocate for mental health? And also, once you learn a new thing, do you take the initiative to educate someone else, or you're keeping it to yourself? Because knowledge is power. The moment you learn, you educate someone else, they educate someone else, and that's how social change comes in.
And before now we finalize, you all know that it's the Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yes.
Yes.
So, as individuals, what initiatives are you doing to make sure that you advocate for mental health?
Personally, for me, it has been a nice month being a mental health advocate. I have been having a lot of activities. And talking about Sound Mental, we're actually wearing a t-shirt.
Yeah, I can see it. It's branded Sound Mental Health.
Yes, it is a youth-led program. We do have activities online talking about the media. We do have bi-weekly trainings. We also have Twitter spaces. And we had a physical event yesterday, which was Wellness Fiesta. And my call to action to all youths out there who might be watching us, I really love you to take initiative and join forums and spaces where people are trying to create advocacy, and also at a personal level, get to learn something new each and every day, because you'll never finish or exhaust learning. So learn about mental health and share the same. Yeah.
Thank you. Wow. Back to you.
For me, I'll say it's not only this month now that's the mental health awareness month, but for me, since some time back, I guess it was last year in December, I now realize after I went for my internship at that I realized that wow, the society needs us even more. So what I started doing, like now I started engaging even with my friends more frequently. Like we just create that free airspace, like we have free talks, like oh, how are you Masika? Si okay imekuaje? It tells you I have been disturbed, nimekuwa na stress, then you know stress za nini, like that I give them that free I will say free environment, like we interact freely. Yeah, free space. So I guess, and in a way, I would say it's really working. Actually, I can meet someone and be, hey, Nasquizi, you're so happy. What's the problem, or what's making you so happy? Then you discover, oh, it's not just happiness. This person, it seems, akona kitu like not me happiness.
He's faking it.
Yeah, he's faking it. So you realize, oh, there's something more. So like I decided now I should just nirudi kwa ground, watu wako karibu na mimi, let me try to nianze to know more. Hata pia in a way pia mimi najifunza to know, oh, this how this thing can be done, or this how this thing can be handled. So I'll say I've not advanced like my friend advanced, okay, but I do attend those support groups, those peer group, counselors groups. So I'll encourage pia anyone penyako akisikia there's any support group for mental health, ajitokeze, aende, achangamke. Just as you said, mental health ni same as physical health. So si ati ni different. Your mental health yafai kuwe sawa, just as vile unaendanga hosi uchekiwe your physical health. Si lazima tukue na depression ama ukue atuwe ni chizi ama nini ndio uende for the mental health activities. Just feel free na utokeze. Yes.
Yes.
Just as it's written here, we are here for you.
Yeah. For you.
Yep.
So actually I wanted to go back to you and give a parting shot to our audience. Or yeah, you can just say a word of encouragement or a parting shot to the audience.
My parting shot ni kwa wasi uko nje, mostly mavijana, tujitokezee, tuache kukaa kule chini tukiumia. Feel free to reach out to anyone, to any of your friend, mwenye unaaminia jitokezee, muongee na itakuwa sawa. Mental health is there for us. Chonjo.
My last word is a call to action to everyone out there. Let us all embrace mental health, and as we are looking toward an environment with zero stigma, be part of it and pioneer mental health. And also I want us to encourage, even as we read literacy materials out there are also Kenyan authors like us. You can also get a copy. Find us at Kenya Gitonga in Twitter and Sound Mental Health across all platforms. And thank you.
Thank you so much. To our dear viewer, we say thank you for tuning in to this episode. This was the first episode, and wait for more. It's going to be fun. So I'm your host, Alexander Masika. See you. Adios.